Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. Oh, what a couple of days it's been, huh? Sunday, Monday here. Wow. It's funny how immigration is such a problem in this country for the Democrats. Oh my God, you can't let those people in. Huh? What are you talking about? Right? It's funny, in the last 48 hours, we have seen basically a riot, two of them actually, started by liberals at the Delaney detention facility in Newark, where they are, beating up on guards, demanding entry into a prison. I'll tell you what, you want to go in the prison, great, just don't plan on coming out. We'll keep you. How about that? Okay. But you had the mayor of Newark and you had a couple of Congress people try to storm the facility end of last week. And now they're all upset that they're being investigated and charges are being filed against them for obstruction of justice, for assaulting police officers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. The mayor of Newark wound up spending a couple hours in jail. And, oh my God, what a crime that was. If it was you or me, we'd have been spending a lot more than a couple hours trying to break into a jail, okay? That's how prison breaks happen. They're supposed to be secure areas. You had AOC coming out saying, we need to storm all these detention facilities. There's more of us than there are of them. Love listening to her try to start a riot. She won't be there because she wouldn't want to get arrested, but, yeah, that's it. So all these people are getting arrested. Yesterday you had somewhere around 50 supposedly religious leaders, probably some fringe church again, that believes in rainbow flags and all this sort of crap. They were protesting in front of the gates, locked arm in arm, to the point where they wouldn't even let an ambulance go into the prison. Gee, you're so worried about those prisoners, yet if one was in serious enough condition, I don't know, they're gang members, murderers, rapists, you don't think there's any possibility there was violence among them, do you? When one of them got injured, they called an ambulance. They wouldn't let the ambulance through the gates. The ambulance had to go around to a different area to get in. Okay. Reason why they moved the ambulance instead of moving the people, they didn't want the people to pull the same kind of trick the congressman did, is try to storm the gates when the gates were open to let the ambulance in. It's a freaking prison, all right? Nobody is supposed to come in. Nobody is supposed to get out without authorization. Which brings up the other part of this, where you had these Congress critters saying, we have a right to go in there. No, sweetheart. No, you don't. You have a right to make an appointment during visitation hours to go in. You want to do an inspection of the facilities? Go through the legal channels to do it. You don't have the right to walk in as a congressman and say, hi, I'm here, show me around. Maybe the director of prisons does, because that's their job. But it ain't your job to go inspect prisons. You can go with an appointment once you are cleared, once you have been assigned appropriate guards for your protection, because again, you are going in amongst a bunch of murderers, rapists, gang members, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I bet the Bureau of Prisons does not want an injured congressman during their watch. So, of course, the Democrats have been and continue to completely protest the deportation of all these people. There were some 500 people arrested yesterday in Houston, and the rap sheets on them, it was like 2/3 of them had criminal charges, criminal prosecutions, deportation orders. I mean, murder, rape, sexual assault of a minor. I mean, aggravated assault, robbery, name it, okay? And DHS and picked them all up, and oh my God, we're going to throw a fit, just like I told you about the one in Nashville last week. This is the deal. The Democrats are so against deporting any of these. Oh, they're just coming here for a better life. Right, because, they couldn't murder, rape, and, pillage down in El Salvador, or Honduras, or Venezuela, or wherever they came from. Right, Haiti, pick one. Another Haiti. Hey, just so you guys know, shithole. Okay, yeah. Sonny Hostin. Yeah, it's true. But so it's funny listening to them talk about all of this. Because what happened the other day, too, was a plane load of 49 South African farmers who just happened to be white came into the country on refugee status. Oh my God, this is all racism. Trump will bring in whites. Trump won't bring in Hispanics or blacks. Okay, let's do the checklist here. The people in the prisons, gang members, murderers, rapists, yada, 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 came here illegally, did not show up for court, have committed millions of crimes. Okay. The South Africans. Let's see, they were farmers who've been persecuted because the South African government is hell-bent on genocide by killing whites, stealing everything that they own. These are facts, guys. This is actually what's going on. And these people are literally being persecuted, honestly, for the color of their skin. Okay? They're not coming here for economic reasons. They had nice farms in South Africa. Just for a note to South Africa, in case you don't know, good luck eating, because nearly 98% of the food that you consume in South Africa was raised or grown, animals or fruits and vegetables, by white farmers. But you're getting rid of them all. Good luck. Okay. But these people were also vetted. They were also checked for criminal history, any sort of criminal charges other than being white, and that was the only way they were allowed in. You want to know what the funny part is, besides the fact of being farmers? Okay. When they got off the plane, all those farmers were waving an American flag, not a South African flag. They were speaking in English, not in Afrikaans. Okay? They weren't screaming about how great South Africa was, and they do everything, they're South Africans first, right, Ilhan Omar? No. They were happy to be here. They want to assimilate. They want a peaceful life like they used to have. Now, I'm not going to say apartheid was right. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But the complete polar opposite of it is going to be worse in South Africa. These people wanting to leave, there ain't a whole lot of other places to go in Africa because the whole continent has turned into a shithole. Gee. So now you have the Democrats screaming and yelling about law-abiding, America-loving, English-speaking people. They don't want those people in. They want the non-English-speaking criminals to stay. This isn't my opinion, guys. These are facts, okay? It's all been proven here in the last couple of days. So where will these farmers go? Well, they'll probably go out to areas like I live in, or Nebraska, or Iowa, or Minnesota, or something like that, depending on, what they want to. And they'll probably try to get some land somewhere and start to build a farm. Hey, good. You know what? We need more farms in this country. We need more farmers in this country. We don't need corporate farms. We need family-owned farms, which these people have a history of doing, okay? They're not all of a sudden going, you know what? I was a farmer back in South Africa. I think I'll be a lawyer in the United States. It doesn't work that way, okay? They'll go to farming, which is good. So it means they'll move to rural areas. All those of us that live in rural areas, that's safe, right? Hold your horses. Okay. And this goes back to what we've talked about many, many times. Do not, under any circumstances, walk around anywhere without your little friend in your pocket. Okay. We have a new South American gang forming in the United States called Anti-Tren. And what these are former Tren de Aragua gang members who became disillusioned with how soft Tren de Aragua was. And so they are forming themselves, and are already in New York State, already in Maine, and more violent than TDA is. And where is their attack for base of operations? Rural areas. Why? Because they figure there's less police, there's less risk for them to get caught with their human trafficking, with their drug running, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So all those people living with the false sense of security is, oh, I live out in the country somewhere, this isn't going to come to me. Don't count on it. All right? This is the problem we have in this country going on now. Sorry about my voice. It's morning. What the Democrats are literally doing is, and this all started with Barack Obama, okay? If you want to go to patient zero for the racial problems in this country, it points to Barack Obama. They are stoking every bit of racial tension they can. Blacks, Hispanics, whites. I'm waiting for the one to come on Asians or Native Americans, because the only way they've gone after Asians so far is to prohibit them from getting an education. And they haven't done anything to the Native Americans. Not that really we could do a whole lot to the Native Americans, because the U.S. government has managed to pretty much take everything away from them already anyway. Okay. Not much left. But this is where the problem comes in. Racism is, and I don't have a figure for this, but I can just, from listening to people, from reading stories, from seeing social media, racism is probably at a higher level now than it was back in the 20s, 30s, 40s when the N-word was common vernacular. Okay. And it's not just white on black. It's black on white, black on Hispanic, white on Hispanic, Hispanic on white, yada, 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 pick something. Okay. We're becoming tribal. Thanks, Barry. That's going to be a huge problem in the country. We have enough issues as it is, worrying about the Muslim invasion. We have enough worries about what the hell's going to happen with China. I'm talking about wars, okay? I'm not talking about economics. We don't know what's going on with some of these nuclear powers in the world. North Korea, okay. And yet, we have all this infighting amongst ourselves. They're all pissed off about a whole bunch of law-abiding farmers, 49 of them, whoopee, coming to the United States, but nobody was worried about estimates up to 20 million unskilled criminals coming here just because they wanted to. Because there wasn't anything left to steal where they came from. Okay. You know, tell me about all those booming metropolises and those great innovation products that have come from Venezuela, Honduras, any country in Africa. You can't. Okay. We're going to see a turning in this country. Be ready, because you're going to have to protect what's yours, guys. Because we're importing, thanks to Joe Biden, a lot of people that think what's yours is theirs, and they'll take it at any cost. I don't know. Maybe the Great American Melting Pot was a mistake. Pinball out.